If you hold Bitcoin or are considering buying Bitcoin, you need to hear this and you need to share this with everybody that you care about, because this could be the last chance to get in to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies while they're still considered cheap. In this video, we're going to talk about the massive supply shock that is about to come into our industry. And we have the data to prove to you guys that Bitcoin is about to go meteoric. And because I know you guys are here to make the crazy altcoin face melting gains, it wouldn't be a proper video if at the end I didn't show you a hidden gem that for some reason nobody is talking about, that is literally backed by everybody in this space, that right now you can still get in for almost the same price as the last private sale investors that don't have an unlock until September 2024. All right, guys, if you're excited for this video, like I am to bring it to you, make sure that you guys absolutely destroy that like button, because this is going to be one of the most alpha packed videos that you've seen in a long time. And if you're new to the channel, what's up? My name is Kyle Chasse. I've been in crypto for 12 years. My goal on this channel is to bring you guys all the alpha that you need to know to take full advantage and make the most of this upcoming super cycle. I genuinely care and want to see you guys succeed while we all succeed together. So guys, without further ado, let's get into this video. First thing we're going to talk about here is BlackRock is on pace to become the largest Bitcoin holder in the world. With BlackRock has accumulated nearly 11,500 Bitcoin for its newly listed spot exchange traded fund, or ETF, as the Wall Street Titan rapidly builds one of the largest troves of BTC in the world. We knew this was going to happen, right? Of course, it makes sense for BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, to become the largest holder of Bitcoin in the world as well. This is just the most obvious perspective. Just days after the first ever spot Bitcoin ETF were launched in the US, BlackRock has accumulated treasury for its product that reportedly rivals the world's largest public Bitcoin holders, surpassing Tesla's 9,270 to make it the third largest Bitcoin stash amongst public companies in just a couple of days, guys. So the question that a lot of people are asking, and if you're watching this, is what happened? The spot Bitcoin ETFs were approved. We were supposed to go to $100,000. Why did the price of Bitcoin drop from 49,000 to where we are right now? What, the 15% drop? Is this a sell news event? No, guys. So if you just pay attention to the price, it could seem scary, like there's nothing going on, but we're going to look at the fundamentals right here. And what's important to note here is that there was $10 billion in volume in the initial 3 days post-launch. It's unprecedented, right? And if you're not following who we talk about all the time, James Safar and Eric Balkunas, you need to. They're giving you guys all the data that we need to know to understand what's going on here with this Bitcoin spot ETF. So we saw a drop. People are thinking this thing belly flopped, but really what's going on? Why didn't we see, if we're seeing all this $10 billion in volume, what's going on? To give you some perspective, in the ETF world, if you guys don't know, an ETF is not just for Bitcoin. ETFs have been around for a long time, right? And in 2023, over 500 ETFs launched. They were not Bitcoin ETFs, collectively reaching only $450 million in volume. I repeat, collectively only reaching $450 million in volume. The top performers of those ETFs reached a peak volume, or the highest volume was 45 million. In contrast, IBIT from BlackRock surpasses the entire combined volume of 2023 ETF freshman class, as Eric said. So just from BlackRock alone, the volume of the ETF surpassed all newly created 2023 ETFs. This is record-breaking history here on a paramount level. This goes to show you the kind of interest that's going on right now in the cryptocurrency world. Why wouldn't we have this interest? This is insane. It's like, this is the best store of value ever. And you have Larry Fink coming out telling everybody that this is how you protect your wealth. This is how you make wealth. And like we said before, there's all these big asset managers are creating mainstream TV commercials that when boomers and the wealthy people who have worked all their life to put money in now are going to be watching mainstream TV, and on the commercials from CNN or Fox or whatever, they're going to be getting commercials brought to you by BlackRock, brought to you by Fidelity, right? And the sales cycle is going to take a while, but we're going to have constant inflows for the foreseeable future. And this is going to do wonders for the industry. So right now, the price isn't reflective at all, but this is really massive news. This is making waves on a whole new level, and it's coming, and it's going to be unfathomable how much more frothy and explosive than you guys can ever imagine, right? And if you're not following me on X, make sure that you go do that at Kyle_Chassé, bringing you guys all this kind of information way before I make these videos. So the question is, why are we seeing this price reflect the way that it is? Well, what happened here essentially is Grayscale sees 1.18 billion exodus among spot ETF. Now, let me explain this for you, because this is really important to understand what's going on and why we've seen a decrease in price versus increase. So as you guys may or may not know, that the Grayscale GBTC Trust was not a Bitcoin spot ETF. It effectively was like a one-way bridge. And people could buy these shares of the GBTC Trust, but they weren't allowed to sell them. It sounds like a complete scam. And the shares were trading at, I think after FTX, like 65% discount. And by the time that BlackRock announced that they were applying for the spot ETF, I think that discount was at like 50% or something. So what happened is if Bitcoin was trading for around $25,000, a lot of smart people saw this as a good trade. And they said, wow, BlackRock has this crazy track record where they almost always, 99.99% of the time, get their ETFs approved. So it's likely that that's going to happen again. So around June of last year, a bunch of people bought up this Grayscale GBTC and were effectively able to buy Bitcoin at $12,500 when it was trading on the market at $25,000. But remember, they couldn't take it out. So when the GBTC Trust effectively recently on the 10th was converted into a spot ETF, that meant all of those people who were in there for that trade were able to exit, effectively entering Bitcoin at $12,500 and being able to sell it around $48,000 for a 400% profit in that short time period. It was an excellent trade for them. So what are they doing? Did they give up on Bitcoin? Well, no, they were probably traders like a lot of people are and saw it as an excellent trade and are now taking profit. So Grayscale, as you guys may or may not know, has the highest fees. They charge 2.5%, and they also have the most Bitcoin in their ETF right now because they converted those 600,000 Bitcoin, $20 billion into the ETF. However, right now we are seeing selling pressure from that. And so that selling pressure will continue for some time until all of those who want to exit that trade have exited that trade. Eventually this will stop and we will start to see the inflows dominant and price will continue. But let me give you some perspective here. So $300 million net inflows a day into Bitcoin ETF means 7,000 Bitcoin a day taken off the market at current prices. There's only 900 Bitcoin created every day from mining. Think about that for a second. At current prices, assumed as average for the year ahead, with 7,000 Bitcoin purchased every day for 252 trading days, that'd be 1.764 million Bitcoin taken off the market. Yes, that's almost 2 million. Either BTC significantly reprices or lots of BTC changes hands from retail to institutions, meaning that if retail are selling, if you guys are selling your Bitcoin, you're selling it to people like BlackRock who are going to buy it off you, and it's a wealth transfer. I can't give you financial advice, but there's no way I'm selling anything before $1 million probably. And that's the thing that I want to talk about too. So let me just talk to you guys for a second here. Every single day, there's hundreds of billions of dollars of trading volume in Bitcoin, right? And most of that volume is from traders who are trying to short-term trade Bitcoin. However, every single day, a handful of people, right, or several handfuls of people, maybe hundreds of people get orange pilled, meaning that they become people like me or Michael Saylor or any other person who wants to hold Bitcoin for the long haul, meaning that they aren't selling. They're buying this thing for the long run. And they're buying this the same way as a store of value and for their kids' retirement, for their kids' college fund, their retirement accounts. And when these big pension funds, these are 20 to 40 year funds that are constantly having inflows. So every time that someone receives a paycheck, right, and part of their paycheck goes to their 401k or their retirement fund, now these big funds are going to start adding Bitcoin into the fund. So constant inflows for long term. So of all this volume that happens in trading every single day, a small percentage of that volume is removed from supply for the long haul. They become long-term holders of Bitcoin, which means the circulating supply is decreasing. So things that we have to remember here are two more points that Gaber says is that the halving is coming, so daily additional supply will decrease from 900 to 450, right? So think about that for a second. 450, and so if we look at a calculator here and we say that 7,000 divided by 450, that's 15.5 times the supply of Bitcoin being bought up every day than is actually created. And so you can start to see why that's so important. Now, he says, even if we assume $100 million in net inflows a day for Bitcoin on ETFs on average, the impact of Bitcoin ETF buying power is significant. Now, we know that places like Hong Kong, Singapore, Europe, Germany, they're all about to, even the Middle East, I know, are all about to start their Bitcoin ETF products as well. So this is just United States we're talking about here too. This isn't even on a global scale. Sure, the United States is one of the biggest economies in the world, but so is China and Hong Kong. Singapore is ultra wealthy. The Middle East, extremely wealthy. Think about when this 7,000 BTC is being purchased every day. If in less than a year, in just 252 days, that removes 2 million Bitcoin from circulation. Well, I'm about to show you how much Bitcoin is actually still circulating. Remember, Bitcoin is the most scarce asset in the planet. No more can ever be created. It is artificially scarce intentionally. 21 million will ever be created. 19.6 million have been minted as of to date. Somewhere in the tune of 4 to 6 million have been lost forever from early miners, from Satoshi himself, from people who had 100,000 Bitcoin and lost their computer that had the Bitcoin on it, whatever. So remember what he says here, 2 million almost from US alone. Of course, that number will be less as the price goes up, but the number is still the same, right? Imagine that it's 2 million and the price, this is with the price going up, and imagine the global ETF trade getting going. Right now, there's only two, you can't see because my head is in the way here, but I can't show you, I'm not going to figure it out. But right now there's 2 million. Yeah, here we go. You can see now. Less than 2.1 million Bitcoin that are on exchanges. So according to Gaber right now, within 252 days, essentially this entire exchange reserves should be eaten up. Of course, we know that that's not going to happen exactly because the price will increase significantly. But the point still remains the same. This is Capital 15C is giving us daily breakdowns. These orange ones are not updated. But as you can see here, that the inflows, if you exclude grayscale, you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 47,000 Bitcoin being bought up. This is shocking, guys. You should be shocked. And you should understand here that at $42,500 or whatever the price is right now of Bitcoin, below $50,000, this is going to be the last chance. Once Bitcoin breaks up north of $50,000, it is game over, because price attracts more people. It is the best driver of attention. And so as this price starts to go up, there'll be more and more buyer power, more and more FOMO. FOMO will happen on an institutional level as well. FOMO will happen, and everybody who's been contacted by the registered financial advisor, there's 300,000 registered financial advisors in the United States. A lot of them haven't cared about Bitcoin so far, but once that price starts getting driven up, the demand will be there. We have approximately 93 days until the Bitcoin halving. 93 days, guys, before the supply creation gets cut in half to where we will only have every 10 minutes 3 new Bitcoin being mined. Right now, 6.25 Bitcoin are being mined. But as of April 20th, 420, what an amazing day. It is so crypto to have the halving on 420. This supply gets cut in half, guys. And this is when it really will be hard to get a hold of Bitcoin. Now, you can't, this is also quite normal on cycles here, where you see this 90 days, which is where we are today, before the halving, a pretty sharp pullback, which is what we just saw, a nice healthy pullback. And then we're going to start to see this pre-halving rally that comes over here in the next couple of weeks, right? And then we're going to see this halving. There might be a little sell-off after the halving. And then look what happens after the halving. It's happened every time historically without fail for every single cycle we've ever been through. And look where we are coming now, guys, into this halving right here. And so the question is where do we top out at and how much we top out? Well, who knows at this point? That's why it's important to stay subscribed to this channel as we cover it on an ongoing basis and keep you guys informed on what's going on a global level, so we can understand best how to not only profit from this, but also protect our wealth. Because in crypto, it's not only about how much money you make, but it's about how much money you can keep. And having that skill set is something that is acquired over the long run. Fundamentally, Bitcoin is extremely healthy. You can see this is the chart for the Bitcoin hash rate, and it's at all-time highs, which means that more and more miners are being turned on, expecting higher prices because it costs them to run electricity and hardware. This is a very bullish sign for Bitcoin. As you can see, guys, almost 15 million Bitcoin are long-term holders, meaning that they're not moving at all. 15 million, and there's been 19.6 million ever minted. So that means that there's about 4.8 million, 4.6 million, 4.8 million circulating, still being moved around. That's 2 million on exchanges and another 2.5 million that are being traded amongst other people, right? So, or short-term holders, which is down here. Based on the numbers we talked about earlier, I mean, we're talking about a extreme scarcity in about a year from now. And of course, everyone has their price they're willing to sell at, but that price is going to be much, much, much higher than what it is right now.
2011. And don't forget, 70% of the circulating supply of Bitcoin has not moved in at least 1 year. This is near an all-time high. Furthermore, a record 43% of the circulating supply hasn't moved in at least 3 years. So zoom out, be patient.
Exactly, guys. This is what I've been saying. So every single day, more and more people get orange pilled and they're not interested in selling for anything. And this is going to continue more and more and more as people get more educated. And this chart right here from Altcoin Daily, thanks guys, shows you exactly why it's so important. This is the purchasing power of $100. And you can see in 1913, when the Fed is created, $100 was $100. Today, that value is basically worth like nothing, like less than $1, right? So and as Altcoin Daily says, Bitcoin will only go up because USD will only go down. And this is why everybody, including Larry Fink, is out there screaming at the top of their lungs that Bitcoin is a flight to safety. It's a flight against inflation. It's a fight against inflation. All right, guys. So now we're gonna start to rotate here into this altcoin gem. But first, Bitcoin ETF launch is good for BTC, but actually much better for altcoins. The Goldilocks scenario for altcoins is when BTC goes up slowly over the span of months and years. Few, if any, double-digit intraday swings. Most days will be up, but not up that much relative to the early glory days, right? And we saw that on the chart earlier. Bitcoin will offer too little volatility to interest many traders, but grind up creates confidence in upward trajectory of the crypto market at whole. The results is continued comfort and allocation down the risk curve. The environment facilitated by the continuous new money flows in the Bitcoin market. And you can see Bitcoin dominance compared to altcoins is starting to drop right now. So altcoins, it's about to be altcoin season coming here very, very soon. It's already starting to look that way. So now, what is this small cap gem we're going to talk about? It's called Connext. And why is this such an important protocol? Well, because essentially what it's going to do, and this essentially is a beta play on EVM and Ethereum layer 2s and EVM in general. They're building a standard that connects all EVMs together, so you will not have to use any bridges. You will not have to change your the click down in MetaMask and pick what network you're on. This thing is building a standard, and we'll get into that in just a second, but you can see it connects all chains. Supercharge your application development with Xcall, a simple but powerful primitive that allows applications to interact with users, tokens, and other applications on any chain. Thanks to its intuitive interface, developers can start to use Xcalls with just a few lines of code. So this is something that we will probably likely introduce into paid network so that you can use paid, for example, on any chain. So right now, guys, it's trading at $31 million. And yes, the fully diluted valuation is 293, but there's no unlocks until September. And that's well into froth season. Why is this so exciting and why am I so bullish on it? Well, it's unbelievable. I haven't seen a cap table like this in a long time. So you have people like 1KX, Consensus Mesh, which is from Consensus, Joe Lubin's company, Coinbase, Polychain, OKX, Kinetic, Hashed, Figment, eGirl, Scholar, Ethereal Ventures, CMS, Momentum, huge institutional investors, guys. These guys are massive. And where is it? You can see here that Connext has raised a total of $23.2 million in funding over 7 rounds. Their latest funding was on June 14th, 2023 from a Series A round. Connext is funded by 30 investors, including Coinbase, Hash, and many others. And we'll talk to you guys about that in a bit. But also impressively, look at the angel investors. So you've got Andre Cronje, like father of DeFi from Phantom, Ed Felton from Arbitrum, Jack from Scale, Sandeep from Polygon, Stanny from Avi, Alex from ZK Sync, Meltem from CoinShares, and Zach from Slingshot. So basically the angels, guys, from all these different blockchains, and there's even more of them, if you can see in this big old list over here. So obviously this is like an alliance amongst all the layer 2s and all the EVM chains that want harmony between all these things and being able to use apps and tokens across multiple chains in a seamless way. So it's important to note a couple things here, guys, on this. So you can see that the next major unlock here is not until September 2024. So all the early investors have a 1-year cliff, and TGE was September 2023. And so we have until September 2024 without major inflation coming in. You can also see, so we have 231 days left. where is the, I don't know where the, but this is good to go look at if you want crypto rank, and then look at Connext and look at the vesting for yourself. You can see kind of like the team unlocks, advisors, things like that. And I don't know where I saw it before, but basically, let's see, fundraising here, I think maybe here. Yeah. So the last round, guys, was 25 cents. Right now, it's 16% above the last round. And they raised $7.5 million. So, and from people like Coinbase and stuff. So you're getting it right now at just 16% higher than they did. And they have these huge cliffs and 2-year vest after that, or 1-year vest after that, I think. So I believe this is a very, very good deal right now. And so what they're doing is they're making this XERC20 token standard. So basically you can bridge, let's say you're using paid tokens, or in the future, Commonwealth tokens. You can bridge those tokens, whatever chain they're on, ZK Sync or Arbitrum or whatever, Ethereum, to XERC20, and then it'll work across all of the EVM chains seamlessly in your wallet without having to switch through different chains. So they're doing this, this EVM multi-chain token standard, along with what they call chain abstraction, which is essentially removing the end user. And I always say this, the end user shouldn't have to care which chain the project is building on. It should just work. And so this is, guys, like one of the end goals here for the ultimate UX and UI for a project. And you can see right now that they're already live on Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Gnosis Chain, Phantom, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Optimism, Moonriver, Fuse, Moonbeam, Milk Media, and then more and more coming. Celo, Aurora, Harmony, Evmos, which is the Cosmos EVM, Neon, which is the Solana EVM, ZK Sync, StarConnect, etc., Metis, etc. Guys, this is a big deal. In my opinion, the cap table is insane. The technology is insane. And to be able to get it at a $31 million valuation is absolutely insane. Very, very bullish. And with that, guys, I hope that you found value today. Make sure you share this with everybody. Very important video. This could be the last chance that your friends, your family, your loved ones can make life-changing gains on the crypto industry, because we are about to get super explosive. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.